feel stink-eyed. We try our best, and we're successful. Come watch our show that River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show.
Well, welcome aboard, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It is Tuesday, April the 1st. And Steve Wyss here with Simon Holden. Don't know about you, Simon. These intro music, I mean, they're in my head all the time now. I sing them as we're about to come on air.
But more of a sort of ZZ Top feel there, kind of bluesy, wouldn't it? Firstly, why am I on All Fool's Day, Steve? It doesn't make any sense to me. I've just been looking at the calendar.
Well, the initial rotor, I think it was swapped around.
Yes, just a coincidence.
You know,
nothing to see here.
Yes,
Move
yes.
along.
How are you doing, Simon? Anyway, I hope you're really well.
I'm doing great. Now, I'm very embarrassed about being on today's show, as you know, Steve. So I've got
I can see.
Yeah, there was a sunburn incident yesterday. So I've been away, came back last thing Sunday night, celebrated my 54th trip around the sun yesterday, popped up to the golf, cloudy start, of course the clouds break. I've got extremely burnt, so I apologize. It's not one of those crazy filters. I am genuinely this red to add to the horror of my look, so I can only apologize. I have to try and give some winners to stop the look of permanent embarrassment from spoiling the show.
Yeah, I was going to say many happy returns.
Thank you, mate.
I was going to say, congrats on the big 6-0. I didn't realize.
Don't you start? I've already been ridiculed.
I genuinely thought you were older than 54, but many happy returns anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, very stressful.
Fan says, "Hi Simon, he's been tempted in by your promise of a big bet today. You did put on X that you were looking forward to this, and you got one of your biggest bets of the season. On today's Premier League card. That's what we're going to be looking at. The 3 Premier League games in detail. We've got player props. We've got best bets. We're also going to be looking at the Copa del Rey second leg, Real Madrid against Real Sociedad." Paul Laguna, welcome into you. The EPL is finally back, and he hopes everyone is enjoying the new newsletter, the Betting Weekly Insider. Do subscribe to that if you've not already. It's had a great start. I think I did hear word that John, our graphics guy, is top of the Handicappers League table right now.
I don't know the guy, but that surprises me still.
So we'll have to wait and see what the actual updated table is when it comes up this week. Rick Haley, good to see you. Duncan Cabral as well. He's excited the Premier League's back. Adam Thompson, Joe Bamba. I think there is a lot of excitement, Simon, because I can't remember the last Premier League game. Like, genuinely, I look back, and apparently it was on the 16th of March. But it feels longer than that. It's kind of crazy how long it's been. And, what can we... Obviously, there has been other soccer been going on around the world since then. But, is this a dangerous time for bettors when we've not got much form to go on with some teams?
No, I think it's a fantastic time for bettors. And I haven't been on, so I can say it. I'm so pleased the Premier League is back. I absolutely love these international weeks. The FA Cup, for me, the magic went about 20 years ago. So I have been like a kid on Christmas Eve waiting for this comeback to the Premier League. I actually think now it's time to get back to business. That was the holiday. Now let's get back to the day job.
Yeah, there's there's 3 big games we're going to talk about in the Premier League today. Paul Laguna says, don't forget March Madness. I've really got into it this year with Doug on the show and stuff. I suppose it's April Madness now, isn't it? With the semi-final and the final being played. Anyway, notable winners and losers yesterday. Pretty good day for the bettors, Simon. Mostly in NBA here. Lakers money line against the Rockets. That was a winner, nearly $20,000. Lakers -3. Clippers money line as well, $15,000 there against the Magic. And a good $10,000 play on the Celtics money live against the Grizzlies. That was plus 104. So a good one there. We've got house specials across the board. We've got one in the Arsenal game, Forest game, and the Real Madrid game. So we'll talk about that. The one of the biggest soccer wagers so far today. We're not going to be discussing it, but over £2,000 on Wycombe Wanderers -1 Asian handicap against Shrewsbury Town today. down in English League One. Okay, we need to crack into gear, don't we? Let's start with matters at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal against Fulham. A Fulham side were now dumped out of the FA Cup. Disappointing I was with that because I did have a 40-1 ticket on.
Yeah, you
on
did.
The sausages. I thought they were quite good at 0-0, and as soon as they fell behind, the game plan went. Palace were by far the better team, deserved to go through. Could be a bit of a hangover now for Fulham. Arsenal -220 to win, which I think on the money line very, very acceptable. If you like betting on those sort of odds, because Arsenal do have a good knack after a break, and I know they had quite a lot of players away on international duty, but they've then had another 4 or 5 days together. Mikel Arteta usually has a good record when he's got time to prepare for a game. Bukayo Saka's back. Arsenal, to me, actually as big as -205 now. I just think, I'd be really surprised if Arsenal don't win this game, Simon. I know that Fulham have given them a bloody nose in recent head-to-heads, but for me, it's a home win.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I tell you what, this is a very good example of. And what I would say to people is now for this run-in, you need to compile a set of teams that you think are vulnerable to the motivation factor. And I think Fulham have got to be pretty near the top of your list. They must be flat as pancakes now. I know you were on at 40s. I really thought you had a big chance of at least getting to the final. And is there really a lot left for this Fulham team this year? I'm not so sure. Now, Arsenal, I haven't been as convinced as I was last year when I was fully on the Arsenal train, but I do think, like you, I think that's quite tempting. I've seen much less attractive home win prices than that in the last year. So, yeah, I think keep this simple and bet Arsenal as your main bet and a couple of prop bets. I think they could win comfortably tonight.
I'm going Arsenal -1 Asian handicap at -120. I fully expected this handicap to be -1.5, to be honest with you. So I'm surprised here. If they win the game in any fashion, you're not losing anything. And, yeah, they do. I mentioned the head-to-head record. The last 6 head-to-heads, 2 Arsenal wins, 1 Fulham win, 3 draws, including 2 at this stadium. But I think it's a much better spot for Arsenal. Should be fresh. Fulham on the back of that. You know, getting knocked out of the cup, that's going to really have hit them for 6. That was really their season. I don't see them qualifying for Europe, if I'm being honest. I know they're in contention, but it's a tough ask for Fulham. They've done really well.
And they have a horrific record, don't they, away at Arsenal? As in horrific, as in never. You know, proper 100%.
They never won there or something? Something ridiculous like that. I
believe they are a complete shutout.
But they have drawn 2 of the last 3. They have drawn 2 of the last 3 there, and they have played him. Marco Silva tends to have a good game plan, but I think this is Arsenal for me. I've seen quite a few people liking Arsenal win to 0, Arsenal win and under 2.5 or under 3.5. I could definitely see that. The 2-0 scoreline for me does stand out. Zakaria says Arsenal win convincingly. Ian Messina's got a bet in the Copa Libertadores. That's back and up and running again now, of course. Cerro Porteño win and under 4.5 goals. Basketball went well last night. Doug, I think, went 3-1 on the NBA. He's been on fire on Betting Weekly Live recently.
Doug is the man.
Yeah, been absolutely brilliant. Cabral likes over 2.5 goals for the Arsenal game. Joe Bamba, Saka to get an assist more than to score. And that's interesting.
I think Saka anytime is interesting. I noticed a lot of people, not just in the comments, but a lot of previews, a lot of really think he's going to have a big night tonight. I think anytime's always safer, but there seems to be a lot of interest in the shots, the assists, doesn't they? Maybe just an anytime score. I'd simplify the whole thing. Get Arsenal on the money line, 90% of your stake, and maybe 10% on Saka, anytime scorer. That will do me.
Yeah, so I've just got some trader information from producer Troy here. 84% of the money on the money line is on Arsenal, 92% of the tickets. The over-under market, 73% of the money is on the under. So the under is being backed here. That's interesting. Arsenal have led 1-0 at half-time in 3 of its last 4 Premier League home games. Fulham has won 3 of its last 4 Premier League matches as an underdog, which is an interesting one. And both teams score yes as hits in each of Fulham's last 8 Premier League matches as an underdog. That is a stat which will please those who do like both teams score yes. But I don't see them. I don't think they score here. This is against, I think, the best defence still in England.
Definitely.
They don't have the best defensive record. Liverpool have that. But for me, Arsenal, when they're at full strength at the back, and they are now, this is the best defence. Sometimes I look at the Fulham side, Simon, and, with all due respect, I sometimes wonder how they do score so many goals, because there's not too much that frightens me, like mega frightens me. They're a good team unit and all that, and I know they're decent from set pieces, but is there genuinely a striker that would put the fear into a really good defence?
The reason Arsenal haven't won the league is not because of this defence at full strength, is it? It's further forward. I agree with you. I think when they're at full strength, they're the best defensive unit. I think Fulham have slightly overachieved because I think they've got one of the top 5 managers in the league. I think
he's a very good manager.
Yeah.
Meninda Pira says, what do we think for his minutes for Bukayo Saka, 50 to 60? I think he'll go. I'm going to go over there. I'm taking the over. I think he takes him off about 70 minutes. To be honest with you, I think give him a good run out here. Jim McCauley, been watching the Premier League for 20 years. So just saying hi, and he's been watching all the shows from Iowa. Welcome in, Jim. That's the sort of comment we love to see. Do you have a best bet for tonight or this whole Premier League card? Let us know. Sergio Bamba's taking Saka to score first half. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd be surprised if he's on the field for the last 15 minutes, Joe. Let's just say that, no matter what the score, because they've got a massive game coming up against Real Madrid next week in 10 days' time.
But have they genuinely completely will their fans want them to have completely given up on the league?
Well, they want to finish second, won't they? They want to be professional. They want to get momentum as well heading into the Real Madrid game.
If it's 0-0, I don't think it's going to be wholesale. Let's think about next week. I think they're going to try and get this game won. So I'd be careful with those. He's going to hold people off. It all depends on how it's going. I mean, I think they'll win this by 2 goals, but they might not, and then it's all hands to the pump to try and win it.
Yeah, as I say, for me, I like Arsenal -1 Asian handicap, -120. Kitoniao, I think, is that, if I pronounce that correctly. I'd be careful going all in on Arsenal. Fulham do give them problems like Villa. I'm certainly not disputing that they have given them problems. I just think in this particular matchup, 3-4 days after the FA Cup match, Arsenal at full strength now, bar the 2 strikers. For me, it's just a better favourable position. Okay, let's move on to another game, and we're gonna save your big bet, Simon. We're gonna go to the Wolves match, and actually, no, we're gonna do the Forest game because for some reason I messed up the graphics here. I need to import some graphics, so we are going to go to the Forest game.
Oh no!
I know. So we got you straight up here. This is one of your big bets of the season. Nottingham Forest are the favourites against Man United at home, a team that have just won on penalties to reach the semi-final of the FA Cup. Plus 128 now. They keep being backed, Forest. Man United are plus 220, an improving Man United team. The tie plus 230. Over 2.5 goals is minus money, which surprises me. I thought the under would be the clear favourite here, personally, but it's not. It's really even Stevens. So where is this big bet of yours, Simon? Are we looking at the money line? Are we looking at player props, the over-under? Let us know.
I will. We're looking at the money line. And now, 2 months ago, Steve, if I'd said to you I was going to have one of my biggest plays of the season on a single game, and it was going to be on, drum roll, Night Owls messed the graphics up, the sound, fake drum roll, it was going to be on Man United. You and I would both be very surprised. But I think the planets have aligned. I think that they're fresher. Obviously, Forest had extra time and whatever. They've got players out. United have impressed me. They are finally turning the corner. I thought they were very, very good against Arsenal. I thought they were very, very good in Europe. Now, the Leicester game, of course, people are saying Leicester are terrible, Van Nistelrooy, clueless, blah, blah, blah. Some of that I agree with. But I thought as an attacking unit and some of the stuff they played was as good as I've seen all year from them. And they finally, we hear news about various bonding and the training that he feels everyone's come together now. I think Forest are very vulnerable tonight. They've had a couple of home wins. They've solidified the Champions League. It's not that long ago that we're all talking about the fact they were wobbling. They've got players out. I just think that the Manchester United are way too big a price. And since I thought that, the news must have leaked out that I'm having a big bet, Steve, because they've drifted. Bet Rivers have overcorrected on hearing I'm on. And I honestly believe this is a massive price. I just think this is set up for a smash and grab. I think the way Forest play will suit Manchester United. And I do think a sort of all action team like Forest, if they're not 100% and they're not rested and they're not at it and they're not at full strength, I think United are going to take care of them tonight.
Do you know what's interesting here? That obviously you could take a handicap if you wanted to be safe. You could take draw no bet if you wanted to be safe. But I've got Neil Channing ringing in my ears here, because he often says if you feel you're getting a really big edge on, say, a moneyline price or bigger odds, then you strike. This feels like wave to me, Simon. You know, you're kind of loading up the bases here for that moment where you think we might look back in a few weeks' time and think, wow, how were they plus 220? Because they have been improving. I agree with you. I've not been convinced by United for most of the season, but something's changed in the last 3-4 weeks. I thought they did a good job on Real Sociedad in the Europa League. I thought they'd get knocked out of there. They're good against the big teams. Well, big teams. They're good against, as an underdog in some of these fixtures as well. So
there's a view from kind of Manchester-based journalists and people that always seem to be correct that I pick up on, that the manager feels like, without naming names, he's sidelined some of the kind of bad vibes within the squad, and he's got the people believing in his style. And it looks like he's got the players believing in themselves for the first time in a long time. And I think they're arriving there tonight expecting to win, and I very much doubt a month ago they would have done that.
Yeah, so Man United on the money line for you. I'm just going to go through the comments now. Mate SK is going to be against you. Forest double chance and under 1.5 goals for him. Arcabra says Man United win, though, could be great value. And it's interesting, there's a split already. In terms of where the money is, just 54% of the money is on Forest on the money line. In other words, complete 50-50. This is the sort of match which is going to divide opinion. It's as simple as that. There's not going to be like one. This is not a public play where every man and his dog's on someone. Split down the middle also with the under. 63% of the money is on the under 2.5. Again, may as well be 50-50 in other words. So, yeah, this is a sort of game where there's going to be a lot of mixed opinions, which that's exciting in a lot of different ways.
Steve, here's a question for you. When you have a focal point player like Chris Wood, and you get there and suddenly he isn't there.
Well, Chris Wood is doubtful for the match, isn't he? With a knock, I think.
Well, I'm hearing that he's very doubtful.
Very doubtful. Well, that'd be a big loss, because the lad Awoni will come in, the Nigerian guy, I presume, unless he's always injured, isn't he? So I think he's available. He's not a bad backup, but Wood's obviously had a great season. I've got a player prop for this game, and it's on a Forest player. Now, I do like the direction Man United are heading, but I still don't think they've fixed one big problem, which is set pieces. I still think they're vulnerable from set pieces a bit. They've got a big defender for us, Nikola Milenkovic. He's had a great season defensively.
Yeah.
But he's actually dangerous from set pieces as well. He's minus 127 with Bet Rivers just to have a shot in the game, over 0.5 shots. That's something he's managed 18 different times this season for club or country. And he's also plus 310 for a shot on target. He's managed that 7 times. Now, that might not seem a hugely high amount, but in the first 10 games, he hardly had a shot. I think they changed the set piece system to get him more involved, and he's a real big focal point. Now, he's not always the most accurate, so I'm just going to take the shot at minus 127 and a little bit of a nibble on the shot on target at plus 310. But right, Nikola Milenkovic, I think, could be a big threat in the air for Forest. I mean, all their big centre-backs are a big threat, to be fair, when they get the set pieces. But that is my player prop for the day. Nikola Milenkovic. Ian Messina says it's still Man United. Can you really trust them to win? That I think that's where now the public perception is that.
Right.
Yes,
that's
the public perception.
Yeah.
They might now be more trustworthy than most of us think. Tonight will prove a lot, because this is also a flat spot for Forest, really. 3 days after the FA Cup? And they took all the way to I know they won those penalties, and that's a nice boost, but you can sometimes come down from cloud 9, can't you, a little bit from that sort of thing.
Let down.
Yeah. So Isaac Newton says, Man United game odds seem to suggest a draw. We're getting all sorts of plays here, aren't we? Forest, Man U draws, over, under. Barker likes the over. Fernandes to score assist at plus 180. That's a massive price.
And if Chris Wood is watching in the hotel, Steve, I would say not tonight, boss. You've got to think of the longer career, Chris. It's a long career. Do not rush back tonight.
I think that's a big price on Fernandes, score assist. He's the one really top quality player in that Man United team. Okay, we move on to the third Premier League game today. Wolves versus West Ham United. These two teams have hardly been seen for a long time, have they?
Luckily.
They've been hidden under a stone. It's a close betting heat. Wolves are the favourites, only just. Plus 155, West Ham plus 205. The tie's at plus 200. Seen a lot of people liking the tie here, and I wouldn't want to put off anyone backing it. Over 2.5 goals, plus money. Plus 128 now with Bet Rivers, under 2.5 goals, minus 159. Both teams score, yes, is only just minus money. I am not expecting many goals here, Simon, myself. I've got a few good stats about this game, especially regarding West Ham coming up soon. Wolves are in no man's land in the table, aren't they? There's no one. Ipswich are 7 or 8 points below them, and then the next team above them are like 11. West Ham 10 points above them. They're in no man's land, but they're just grinding their way to safety. I think they're lucky that there's 3 shocking teams down there. Otherwise, they would be in huge trouble for me, Simon. But they are going to survive. But it's not pretty, is it? Especially with no Cunha, who's still suspended.
Big loss. I think I agree with that point. In a standard Premier League season, this Wolves team will be down already. But you're right, there's 3 shockers in there. They have never got any momentum at all this season, Wolves, have they? I've been so disappointed with them, because last year, particularly the year before, I was quite excited by them and regularly would bet them. I'm surprised that West Ham, I think West Ham are a big price tonight. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm going to bet West Ham on the money line, and I'm going to bet Bowen. It's a funny one, because if it could be 1-0, you almost can't decide whether to bet him as first scorer. That's a real quandary people have in when it's going to be.
You could bet him on last goal scorer as well.
Yeah, or just anytime do the treble. Yeah. I have been so disappointed with Wolves. They haven't got any attacking. They look completely like a rudderless ship every time I see them. Now, I tell you what, I watched West Ham away at Everton, and Everton got a lot of criticism after for the way they played. But I thought Potter has finally, cemented his way of playing on this team. I was really impressed. They look strong. They look really well structured. I think if they turn up there in that form, I think they'll beat Wolves tonight.
I really like the under. I like under 2.25 goals at minus.
Oh, it's not going to be a goal fest, this is it?
Well, 7 of the 9 games since Potter took charge. 7. He's actually only been in charge of 9 Premier League games. It feels longer than that. I think he came in, was it January the 1st or something?
Yeah.
So this doesn't include the FA Cup game that he had. 7 of his 9 under 2.5 goals. Only scored 9 goals in 9 games, and 3 of those were against Fulham in his first home match in the Premier League. So, they've averaged, I do believe, the lowest since he's come in. No team has averaged fewer shots per game than West Ham, including the likes of Southampton and Leicester. They only average, I went through it all today, 9.22 shots per game since Potter took charge, and 2.77 shots on target per game. So he's changed the system to 3-4-3. It's hard to break down. They're only conceding 3.88 shots on targets per game at the other end. So they've become really defensive, really well structured. You're right. I think he's starting to get them to play in a way that he kind of wants to, but it's not pretty, is it?
No, but Wolves have scored once in their last 3 games, and they're playing a very well organised West Ham. This who rarely score. This has got a 1-0 smash and grab Bowen to score written all over it for me. I really like West Ham, and I agree with old Philly guy 2377 there that Cunha out is a huge blow for Wolves.
Well,
he's been the one player where you think at least they've got him. He's not there tonight.
Well, if Cunha played, I'd be thinking twice about the under a little bit more. In fact, I'd want to be taking under 2.5.
He'd be a threat, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd be a huge threat. But I'd like you say, I do see West Ham keeping a clean sheet here. I know a lot do like both teams score here based on the stats for the season. But I just think you've got to look at and under Potter, West Ham have scored in every single away game under Potter. And in a way, they're actually better on the road. But with 1-0 to the visitors could happen here. It's a sort of game where if they get a goal, I think West Ham will be so hard to break down. And I don't think Wolves have got the weapons to do it.
No.
I mean, Jurgen Strand-Larsen's not convincing up front. Take Cunha out, then really, they haven't got a lot, have they? At all. But I was trying to get a way to back Wolves in the shots market. You could look at Wolves' most shots on target minus 106, but I mean, I don't think there's going to be many shots on target at all in this game at either end of the field because the quality isn't there for Wolves, and West Ham just don't shoot enough. Simple as that. But they tend to be quality over quantity at West Ham with the shots. So
it's going to make a Burnley game look like Real Madrid this tonight. It's going to be extremely bleak stuff. But hey, if Bowen scores, Wolves win, and it's 1-0. We're only going to remember the cash, aren't we?
Yeah, Bowen's your main player prop bet of the day, isn't it?
Really,
57% of the money's on Wolves. 54% of the money's on the under. Again, another match. It's proper 50-50 split with the bettors. And I'm seeing that in the comments as well. I'm seeing comments, both teams score yes. Some saying the under. Benjamin Burdett says over 2.5 goals. So,
well, do you want to be with the team that are improving? And I think anybody would agree with me that West Ham are the only one of the two teams that are improving. I think Wolves are just flatlined.
Well, I think Wolves, when they are eventually safe, which should happen in about 4 or 5 games' time, I think, they will be on the beach after that. These players won't care. You're looking at the teams above them, like West Ham, Everton. Normally, these sort of sides will be looking towards that beach, but Potter's only been in for 9 games, so the players are still really hungry. Yeah. Everton, I mean, you guys have had Moyes come in. You playing the stadium is a big thing. Goodison. So it's one of those years where teams in the Premier League might not be on the beach as early as normal. It will happen in the last 4 or 5 rounds, but at the moment there's still plenty at stake. Duncan Evan, lots of away wins in the Prem this season. United West Ham double is a bet. I think someone else might have put that double up. I'm going to work out. West Ham are being back live on air right now, plus 190 now. West Ham, so someone's coming in here on that money line for West Ham United. The Man U West Ham double with Bet Rivers plays plus 828 for those who might fancy a slice of that.
There's worse ones out there.
There's Bet Rivers house specials today as well. Going back to the Arsenal game, both teams to score in over 2.5 goals, plus 170. I know a few in comments did like that earlier, so absolutely take the house special if you fancy that. Nottingham Forest versus Man United, both teams to score and 1 or more goals in each half at minus 103. That sounds like one of Dan Roebuck's new bets, doesn't it? He came out with a cracker on Friday in the Bochum game. It won, but it was confusing for you people to start with.
I find him a very confusing person, to be honest.
Dan is back on the show tomorrow with Dan Roebuck and Nigel Seeley on Betting Weekly Live tomorrow. And talking to those two, Premier League show was released about 24 hours ago. I'm sure many of you watched it already. But if you haven't, then do check it out. They go through the whole card, not just the 3 matches today, but the rest of the 7 that are ongoing. There's some big fixtures, including that Merseyside derby, of course. And we're going to round off the show, Simon, by moving into a big cup match in Spain. Copa del Rey, Real Madrid against Real Sociedad. Real Madrid do hold this is a 2-legged tie, and Real Madrid hold the advantage 1-0. They don't have to win this second leg. A draw will do absolutely fine for them. But they are minus 265 to win anyway. Real Sociedad have to win, otherwise they're knocked out, whatever. Extra time and penalties could come into play here, plus 650 for them. Over 3.5 goals is the goal line here, plus 140. Both teams score yes at minus 136, and this is a bet that we both agree on, Simon. We are liking. We're not liking the idea of clean sheets in this match, are we? I'll let you go first.
No. There's 3 I like here. I like Mbappe to score at any time, and it's not going to. I'm not going to be at the most original bet Oscars as the shortlisted. I think we'd said before 8. Excuse me. Madrid's home dominance, 8 wins in 9, plus 3 goals. They've scored 3, I think, in 7 of the last 8 at home. I just see like Real Madrid to win and over 2.5 goals. I thought that was excellent. Both teams to score. That's a tough one. I'm going to stick with a 2, I think. Mbappe to score any time, Real Madrid to win and over 2.5 goals. I had a chuckle there where a few people have said Madrid don't need to win, as though he's going to come out and set it up for a draw. That's just not in their DNA, is it?
No,
they
can't.
They're going to do what they do, aren't they? And it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be good, this game. But yeah, keep it simple. Over 2.5. And that man Mbappe, I just don't see them keeping him out.
The thing now, there's actually a Bet Rivers house specially on Kylian Mbappe, and this may well interest you, Simon, because I'm just looking at the price now for Mbappe to score minus 127 to score any time in the 90 minutes. That wouldn't include extra time, but you can get Bet Rivers are offering a big dangling carrot here. Plus 450 for Kylian Mbappe to score in the first 25 minutes of this match. Now, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
That is really me.
I thought it would. I think that's a potentially big price. Because Real Madrid are not the sort of team that are just going to come out and pass the ball.
Well, they're not slow starters, are they?
No, they're not, are they? They can come out quick. I mean, they might want to. Yeah. I think Real Sociedad will come out quite with intent as well. So it could open the game. Wouldn't surprise me. Plus 4, you got 25 minutes of game action there, more than half of the first half in your favour. Plus 450. I think that's a really juicy Bet Rivers house special.
I like that.
Arca Brow says Real Madrid win and both teams score plus 180. Yeah, he's in agreement with you there. Jan Philip says both teams score yes. Frederick, both teams to score yes and Real Madrid win. I looked at that as well. Paul Laguna likes under 3 Asian goals. There was someone in the chat earlier who was liking both teams to score no here as his best bet of the day, I think it was. So, but I think both teams score yes is a good go. Minus 134 now. There's Real Sociedad have a really good record here in terms of goal scoring. Just let me find my notes. I've got so many notes. It's like this desk is absolutely crazily messy sometimes. But they scored in 7 of the last 8 games at the Bernabeu. So they come here and usually have a go, don't they? Not always known for scoring goals, but they have to. This is their whole season's on the line here for Real Sociedad. Yeah. For Real Madrid, they're still involved in the Champions League. They're still in the Liga race. They're 1-0 up in this tie. I'm not saying they're going to be unprofessional or anything, but for Real Sociedad, it's a matter of life and death now. They have nothing else to play for, really. I don't think they're going to get into Europe in via La Liga, so they're going to go all out and have a go. I mean, And if
Mbappe scores in the first, 25 minutes, you can cash that turnover to Wolves, West Ham, and it'll still be 0-0. So you've not missed anything. Cover all bases.
Duncan said he's only seen Real Sociedad play Man United and they looked awful. I do agree. They were so disappointing against Man U. And I think the physical element of the Premier League goes underrated. They were just outmatched by the sheer, athleticism of some of the Man U players. So it's, obviously Real Madrid. They also were very poor against Barcelona, by the way. They didn't even have a single shot against Barcelona away. There might have been a red card involved in that game. So, but I just think they can't come here and not have a shot, can they? They've really got to go for this, Real Sociedad.
Well, they can't win, can they? Because if they sit back, they've got no chance. And if they overcommit, it's highly likely that they're going to get absolutely slaughtered because Madrid are so quick up front, aren't they? That they're literally in a no-win situation here, but they're gonna have to give it a go, aren't they? A bit of a Dan Busters style, and have a pop first 20. You're right. This could be extremely exciting in the first half hour.
Joe Bamber, does Mbappe even start? He should start. I saw the predicted lineups today. I mean, you never quite know Real Madrid, but Ancelotti tends to go surprisingly strong, more than you think in these sort of games. Anyway, yeah, Paul's going to do the house special at plus 450. I think it's very much worth a go. Unsurprisingly, 98% of the money is on Real Madrid. 98% of the tickets are on Real Madrid. So, there we go. That does it for today. There is cup action in France and Germany as well. I had a look at the cards. Just nothing stood out. And, the old adage says, wait for the bets to come to you, Simon, rather than force anything. Dunkirk, PSG, I couldn't find anything of notable value. Good luck if you are involved in the cups around here. And also, I want to give a mention to a match in Norway, the second tier. It's Raufoss against Moss. I know the manager of Raufoss, Tom Den, English manager, sometimes just watch this show. So good luck, Tom. Absolutely bring it home today. They are the dog against a team called Moss. But hopefully Raufoss can get a win there. But thank you, everyone.
Glad you've done that, Steve, because I had it down to mention that at the end, but you've saved me there. Thanks, mate. Oh, you won.
Thank you, everyone who joined Betting Weekly Live today. And Simon, what would be for those who are only just tuning in, your best bet of the day? It's one of your best bets of the season, right?
Hey, come on, you Reds. This is it. I've even. How much commitment do you want to this bet? My head's red. This is it. Red Devils. This is it tonight. Man United are the bet.
Man United money line. That's your best bet of the day.
Yes.
For me, line, the best bet.
I do like West Ham though, and that double.
Like West Ham.
I do like West Ham.
Yeah, I like the under there. That's my best bet of the day. Under 2.25. Wolves versus West Ham. Tomorrow, Dan, as I mentioned before, Dan Roebuck is going to be with Nigel Seeley on Betting Weekly Live. They're going to delve even deeper into the Premier League card for some side bets, prop bets, things like that. So get your questions ready to pick their brains. Go on then. Paul Laguna. Steve, before you go, will Leeds turn it around? I am getting very worried, Paul. I'm getting very, very worried. And I might have just lost a little bit of faith, to be honest, with Leeds recently.
Really?
I know there's a lot of people that are on Leeds outright on the futures to win the championship. It should have cashed already, but we've got a goalkeeper in between the sticks who's one of the worst goalkeepers in professional football.
Sorry, laughing, but you're right.
Well, it's in a way
comical,
quite laughable.
isn't he? It's comical.
It's incredible. If we had a competent goalkeeper, we would be 10 points clear, if not 12, and it would, promotion and the title would be sealed. So now, look, it comes down to forget quality, forget matches won on paper. Now it's mentality. Have we got the bottle? Have we got the pressure? I'm not sure. Now the players have got to show us something that they've got it again, because I am not as confident as I was. And to be brutally honest with you, I will be betting Luton Town this weekend on a handicap.
Ooh.
In the early kickoff, +1 Asian handicap. And until Leeds again show that we can get it done, I don't think unfortunately we can be trusted. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But anyway, enough of that. I'm sure there'll be a Betting Weekly Live with Leeds on when I'm on, and it could get a bit nervous for me, Simon. But well, good luck with all those plays anyway today, and we shall see you again on Betting Weekly Live. Simon, I think you are maybe down at least one more time this month somewhere. The rotor, although it just changed.
Week on Friday, Masters Friday.
Oh, yes, the US Masters, of course,
Be there.
Coming in. Okay. Take care, everyone. Remember to gamble responsibly, and do watch tomorrow's show with Dan and Nigel. See you around.